Hello, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Welcome to Tiyeseko podcast. My name is Michael Banda.
My name is Arvin.
And I am Theresa Kzemba.
So today on our first ever podcast episode, this podcast is actually inspired by Kubota because she told me about how she started her podcast from just recording on her cell phone. So today we've started our Tiyeseko podcast. But I'll put the pictures of the young ladies who I'm with today. But today, Theresa is on the hot seat. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually seated alone.
So, okay. So, first question that I have for Theresa is, why are you Jehovah's Witness?
Why?
So I was like, why are you, you know?
So, firstly, I would say these two are gang up against me. And I'm all by myself. Okay. So I became a Jehovah's Witness because I learned the truth from the Bible.
No. Give us the whole experience of how you moved.
Okay, no problem.
Church,
I got you covered.
You know, that move just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
So, firstly, I was born in a Pentecost church with my mom and dad. We would go there like every Sunday.
Serafina is literally just like...
Can I finish? Give it.
Shake my head.
Yeah, would go there every Sundays. By then, I was still a kid, So I would, all I knew was go to church, Sunday school, back, just like that, back and forth. And by the way, I was in a children's choir. I was leading songs,
Yeah, by the way, Theresa can actually sing. Give us a few vocals.
Okay. Yeah, so in 2015, my mom started learning the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses. And it was really amazing. Like, at first...
How old were you by then?
I think I was... I don't remember. I don't really remember.
But you were in your teens.
Yeah, I was in my teens, definitely.
But that's
I think before my teens.
Before your teens?
Yeah, before my teens. Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah.
So by then, obviously, I wasn't going to make a decision by myself to choose a church I would go to, but I'll just follow my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So when my mom started learning the Bible, of course, it wasn't easy for her. She made it so hard to learn the Bible. And then after realizing a lot of things that she learned were in the Bible, she was like, she got really interested. And she started taking me along with her at the Kingdom Hall. And by then, I was then decided to say, I really want to be here. Like, that's the honest truth.
So you were kind of forced to
So
go there.
I wasn't forced.
Yeah.
I wasn't forced. I mentioned to say I was following because as a child. You know, your mother says we're going left. Okay, mommy, we're going. That's how I was.
I understand on that part.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as a child, you don't have any...
So, because by then I wasn't even baptized from either of the churches. So that will really solidify my decision as I get to the point.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, and then what?
Then with time, she started learning the Bible, and she made a decision in like 2018 to switch churches. And then we started attending with Jehovah's Witnesses like full time, and we had to like report at our former church and tell them about our decision, but hard decision, not hard decision. Yeah. So it was a drastic move for the whole family. It really...
Wait, did you move
And how did that make you feel? Did you want to stay in your old church?
With your old friends?
At first, yeah. At first, I felt like mom was really depriving me, but she didn't force me. She didn't force me to say, you have to come, you have to do. I was like, okay, going to church alone, I was like, I can't go alone without my mom.
Obviously. So
so I just had
to either stop church or you go to the
yeah,
church.
So I was like, okay.
Which in some way kind of feels like being forced to go. Yeah.
No. Yeah, so with time I started attending meetings. I promise I used to doze like throughout.
Yeah.
I found it so boring because
trust me,
because I was from a church where we had all these speakers and mics, and they didn't have that loud music, and I was like, okay.
I've never been in a Jehovah's Witness church, but I hear that this should be. There's a difference between Seventh Day and Jehovah's Witness. But when I went to Seventh Day, they don't clap or dance there.
Exactly.
Is that the same
it's
thing?
the same thing.
Oh my God.
You guys, it's fun. We'll get to the fun part. Okay? I'll get to the fun part. This is so fun. Okay. So with time we started attending meetings together. Though my dad, that's the time when he just stopped going to church. Like, okay, you guys have decided I'm quitting. Like,
I
he
cannot
just
stop.
Yeah, I can also stop.
just started taking us to church and going back home. And I was like, okay, I'm just going because it's a Sunday. I don't have to stay home. Then with time, I had my own personal Bible teacher. She started teaching me the Bible, and I learned a lot of things.
Okay.
Because there was this time I had a sad moment in life. I lost my grandma,
Yeah.
and at the church service, they told us to say, right now she's in heaven as we're speaking. She's as we're right now.
Jehovah's Witness.
She's in
the
heaven with
is
God.
it Jehovah's Witness that said that there's a specific number of people who are going to enter heaven.
We'll get there.
The Bible says that though.
That's the truth. That's in the Bible.
Yeah, it does.
That's in the Bible. Yeah.
Guys,
In
every
Revelation.
Bible says
Thank you,
that.
Seraphine.
What verse is that? I gotta go.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So I was so comforted knowing that my grandma, the shocking part is that I knew that my grandma was a mean grandma. So I was like, how is she in heaven? Like, okay. How is she in heaven? I know I don't mean she should be in hell, but how is she in heaven? Like, you people, okay. Anyways, so I had the illusion thinking that if a person dies, they all go to heaven. I didn't know about hell, honestly. Like, no one would ever mention to say,
Wow.
no, I didn't know that anyone would go to hell just after like that, because nobody mentions that if you die, this one is going to hell. Who will say that?
No one.
Remember that song that says, when you die, pamenenze pachalo, nzokamba ndine kawalala, but if I die, you say he was a good man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that song?
Yeah.
People be like,
Exactly. People always say the good things about you. They
Yeah.
never mention the
Yeah,
good.
definitely, yeah.
Exactly. So after I started learning the Bible, I learned to say, when you die, you go back to the ground where you came from. And I was like, wait, where is the heaven part? I was like, no, there's no heaven. Like, the Bible says there'll be a resurrection for both the righteous and the unrighteous. And I was still waiting to hear heaven, and there was nothing. And I was like, okay, let me read from the Bible.
Okay.
I had to verify with my own Bible, because people assume Jehovah's Witnesses have their own Bible.
Well,
don't assume.
we don't.
We
We
know.
know. I was actually thinking
Beyond
about
the
it.
Bible.
Like,
I know, right?
This is
I was
different
about to say,
Bible.
I'm sure the Bible she read was the Jehovah's Bible.
No, you guys, I really had my own Bible, the Good News Bible.
Really?
Okay.
Exactly. I
Okay.
had the Good News Bible.
So if I give you like a random Bible right now, you would still.
Same, you will find the same thing. It's just that it's just a translation,
Okay.
just different English,
Okay.
more simplified English.
Okay.
That's what's in the
Interesting.
Bible that you people say Jehovah's Witnesses Bible.
Yeah.
It's just a great
Jehovah's
Bible.
Witness
I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, they really gave me a different view of what Jehovah's Witness people are like, because every now and then they would visit you at your home,
And then you'd have
and
to
then
run
you'd have
away.
to run
you know?
away and hide. Why are you running?
When you see them, you just have to run away, close the door, lock the windows, everything.
So, but yeah, it's good to know that I'm getting a different perspective, a different view of what Jehovah's Witness is like from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Tell me more, please.
So after I learned about all that and realizing to say, okay, it's actually in my Bible. Just a few things that were not in my Bible, like God's name. It's not there. It's not there as Jehovah, like his actual name.
Oh.
So I was given an illustration that I'll give you guys as well.
Okay.
So for example, we have many kings, like let me say 5 kings, yeah? And you want to call the king from your country or maybe from your land. Let me say your kingdom rather. And then how would you call them? They're all called lords, my lord or my king. But how do you differentiate your king? You call him by his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same thing when you're praying to God, because we know the devil and his acquaintances
Yeah.
have other names,
Yeah.
You can because even here on earth we call our people, other rulers as Lord, King, but you can't call God Lord, my God. What? Yeah, that's enough. But mention his name. And then when I realized he had a name, and I was like, okay, he even has a name, because
Okay.
all I knew is that he's Almighty. That's it.
What's his name?
Jehovah.
But that's known, isn't that
Yeah, that's-
known?
Yeah,
that's
I'm
real.
glad you guys know about that.
Okay, fine.
Others would argue.
No, but
So that's the second truth I found out. So apart from learning about the death and resurrection, and also learning about God's name, and also about suffering.
I see.
Suffering was something that really shocked me. Learning about the Bible, and I was like, okay, suffering. We have a lot of diseases, wars, and whatnot. But when you come to think about it, it's really mentioned in the Bible, and that there'll be an end one day, that all this will come to an end, all the suffering, the diseases, and whatnot. And I also had to learn, surprisingly, where all this came from, like how it all started. We all originate from two parents,
Yeah.
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve.
They disobeyed
Thanks
God.
to Eve.
Meaning,
Let's not start with that.
we're not gonna start that right.
Well, Eve, you know. Oof.
Exactly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So learning that we're from sinful parents who were once perfect
Yeah.
makes us all sinners, and that's where all the suffering and the death comes in.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so we'll have to, I asked questions, So I was like, are we going to suffer and suffer and suffer? I was like, no. One day, God promises to say, He will bring an end to all this suffering. And we'll see, the most exciting part is that we'll see our dead loved ones.
That's the part that puzzles me the most, right? Is that when we're learning, or when we get the teaching from my church, because I'm from RCZ, Reformed Church in Zambia.
Okay.
It's like UCZ, but in the Chewa version, or Nyanja type, like there's more Nyanja there, that side. Now the thing is that what I learned from there is that when we die, we will not remember our loved ones, right? I lost my parents when my father died before I was born. My mother died when I was 4. So my biggest question is, when I die, will I be able to meet them or remember them? Like, oh, that's dad, or that's mom. So in our teachings is that you will not remember them. You only go there as you all be brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's also a part which I had to ask questions about, because at first I was like, okay, I was more concerned about the partners, married people. I was like, okay, so if you're married, like, are we going to be single people?
Like everything.
Because you can get married.
Are we gonna meet our exes in heaven?
So there's also a part where the Bible mentions to say the earth will be back to normal, like the way God wants it, a perfect place where we'll have nothing like suffering. So that's another homework I have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll get back to you guys.
That's okay. No,
Okay.
I got one question though.
Sure.
So since you're a Jehovah's Witness, what's dating like outside your church? What's that?
Biggest topic we want to talk about.
You guys. Okay. So dating. So what's dating? Let me ask you guys. What's dating?
Seeing where your friendship is headed from friends to.
What's the goal of it?
Okay.
For me, what I believe dating is like, what they've taught us in our church, at least. As a Christian, you need to date to marry. So dating is a preparation to like marry somebody,
I'm not
you
in my
don't
head,
just
but that's
have to
correct.
date someone such you can
Bingo.
know them, and then if you're not interested anymore, you leave them.
On to the
Know
next one.
someone while you're friends, and then the time you guys decide to start dating, decide to get married. Don't just date for the sake of it.
Exactly, Serafina.
Yeah.
So what is that like now that you have to date outside your church?
So dating is the same with what Serafina said. That's what we also know.
Okay.
You guys really make it seem like Jehovah's Witnesses are from another planet.
In some way.
Yeah.
Why not?
You guys
Okay.
deserve a world of your own.
Okay, so dating has to have a goal, yeah?
Okay.
And if you're dating to just play around, the Bible also what comes with dating, in short, it comes with a lot of things. And you see this generation, we have people committing sexual immorality, and that's so normal with them. It's so normal. Sexual immorality is there. Like, okay, I need to lay down with my man, It's so cool. They make it seem so cool. Like it's not a sin.
Like it's not a sin.
Yeah.
Like it's the main thing of
But God warns us in the Bible book of Corinthians to say it's actually a command, not something to say do it if you want.
Yeah, it's
a command to say stay away from sexual immorality. And it's so serious that he mentions to say such people who practice such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Exactly. So imagine you are dating someone who doesn't believe, someone who believes, okay, I can have sexual relations with you, and one who says, I don't want to have sexual relations. Are you guys going to be compatible?
No.
Exactly. So it has to be a thing whereby you want to date someone with the same beliefs as you.
Yeah.
So you don't have any conflicts,
But
But then,
yeah, you
okay,
go.
I have a question.
This it is getting cool, okay?
Okay, so I think I've witnessed something like a situation like, let's say I don't believe in having sexual relations before marriage, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing someone, I've explained to them about my beliefs, and then they choose to pretend so that they should suit me, and then they get to entice me as we go on in the relationship. How do you conquer such a situation?
So it has to depend with your standards, what standards you set and boundaries in the beginning of the relationship. So if you know to say, okay, we're starting a relationship, you mention, of course, when getting to know each other, you mention things like, okay, what do you like? What are your preferences? What do you like? And what would you like?
We did talk about red flags a few weeks ago.
red
Yeah, we
flags.
did. When we were texting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you start noticing those changes for your good, and if you know the dangers of those things, you really want to refrain from them and leave.
Run away.
For your peace,
Run.
run.
Mutuka.
Yeah.
Run.
Mutuka. You don't want to
Correct.
sit. Exactly. You don't want to sit in a place where you have more serious consequences coming after you, because now you're thinking, okay, I wish I left because now, this happened to me. Your conscience is bothering you because of a decision that you could have just changed there and then and said, okay, you would have left.
Yeah, and then regret is the biggest pain in the
Regret.
world.
Exactly.
But, we learn from our mistakes. I feel like the best way to learn is through your mistakes.
No.
Not such mistakes.
Mistakes. Some mistakes.
Like this.
Michael, people are doing
People are doing
I
this
don't know
in
what
the
to
name
say.
of
Exactly.
learning
through
from-
experience.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Let me learn. There's a saying I found on social media the other day which says, enjoy your youth, but remember not to spoil your future.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's right.
Exactly. So you don't want to ruin your future because there's a totem of dating and it's trending. I'm going to date because, okay, my man is bath and whatever.
Yeah, I see.
He's maybe, most of these relationships, we don't know what's behind the scenes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a whole story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my question was now, since obviously, yeah, it's actually easier to date someone from your church.
Yeah.
Even I sometimes wish I could find someone from my church, but I hardly go to my church because the distance. But thank God I finally moved closer. It's now like 10 minutes away. And now, for the fact that you advocate for date within your church, doesn't that feel more like segregating the other people? Like, doesn't that make them look like they are not holy enough for you?
No. The thing you want to avoid is the same thing Serafina mentioned earlier. Yeah, where you want to, at some point, you get to experience a situation that you're not comfortable with because of your beliefs. You really can't be in a relationship where you have to explain every single day, no, I can't do this because of this. It's really stressing.
It's a lot
Exactly.
easier to
Yeah.
because someone
Exactly.
already is in your church.
So making it easier, be with your people.
But isn't that boring though?
It isn't. It
Like,
isn't, honestly.
you know how you're always scrolling through Instagram and you always find a quote that is just fitting your life situation.
Actually, for my own experience, I'll mention to say, when you start learning the Bible and you realize to say, okay, actually, God really wants us to be in the right path. God's path can seem so restricting, but it's the perfect path you ever take because it protects you from the things of the world that could ruin your conscience, your mental health.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Actually, heard a quote that says, when God gives you what you want, that's God's direction.
Exactly.
When God doesn't give you what you want, that's God's protection.
Ooh, okay.
yeah,
That
you
touched the
see,
nerve right there. That
Sarah
touched the nerve.
Yeah, so when God is protecting you, you feel like, it's just the same when a parent. Let's say God, He's our parent,
Yeah.
We're His children. He'll come and say, don't touch that hot water. You'll be like, okay. He'll say, don't touch that pot because it's from the fire. You'll be like, what will happen if I touch it?
Yeah.
Then you touch it, you burn.
Then
What happens?
I told you.
I
don't
told you,
touch it.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's in a similar sense. We'll say, God really has written down a lot of things for us to follow in the Bible. So it's just up to us to ignore it or follow it. So God will mention to say, stay away from sexual immorality. Okay, God has said, okay, I'll just have one sexual partner. You're reducing it
that's
to
the
that?
sense, yeah.
Honestly? Okay. God is looking at you. Okay, one sexual partner, but I'll say, don't do it. He
At
knows
all.
the danger because
Yeah.
you're not even assured if that's even your husband.
Yeah.
What if he leaves one day? He's acting right. He's like, oh, she's acting right. Then one day says, I'm tired of you.
Yeah.
I just want to find
Oh,
somebody
you're
else.
you're not the problem. I'm the
I'm
problem.
the problem.
Oh my
It's
God.
complicated. You won't understand. What can they understand? Just make it clear. Yeah. And they leave. But imagine now you're dating someone from your church. You have the same beliefs. You even know, for example, say your pastor mentioned to say, okay, Serafina, you only date Joseph because I know Joseph. His qualities and you guys are compatible together. And you also have peace with him. You have peace of mind and on.
So that's what happens. They give you guys.
No.
partners.
You hear that, Joseph? You're a lucky guy.
Joseph,
That
Theresa wants
that
you
was
over
brought
there.
out wrongly. That was said wrongly. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay, so
Sorry, Joseph.
to make it easier,
Uh-huh.
to make it easier, I'll just say there are really no rules with dating. It's up to your conscience, how bothered you are with it. Because you're dating somebody out there and they really don't know the restrictions the Bible has set for us, not the church. Emphasis, not the church. Yeah. So the Bible has a lot of things that we really ignore.
Okay, so we're about to finalize our podcast. I have one last question, and you also get. I'll give you the chance to also ask one last question. So, since you've mentioned of how it's a lot easier to date within your church, what are you going to do if you happen to find the love of your life outside your church? By Zambian tradition, you have to move from your church to his church.
Okay.
That's how it works
First of
here in
all, why
Zambia.
am I looking outside?
What if we're here in university,
in
so many places,
situations.
work,
Yeah.
school,
And what are
Okay.
the odds that you'd find someone from your church?
The other good is working. Okay, so if it was to happen like that, personally, I've made up my mind to say I really want to be in a peaceful home. Okay, I'll set this out right. Yeah, I'll get married to someone. Yeah, for example, I'll start with your statement. I get married to someone who's not a witness. Yeah, we have kids. I don't want the kids to be in a divided home where we're now deciding where you want to go to church, which church you want to
church should we
choose.
go to?
Okay, go with mom, go with dad.
Yeah.
It's already dividing the family.
Yeah.
How about I just decide to get married to someone who is from the same church as me, and we have a unified home? Like, isn't that more peaceful?
But what if?
Like we
What
said,
if?
what
The if is not coming.
No.
Consider
See,
the if.
God has a sense of humor,
Yeah.
Okay, so if the if comes,
Mhm.
I honestly won't take the path. I will just break up with him.
Are you being
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious because
You see, this is why we say you guys are living in deception, because you are like hiding yourselves from, experience is important. Us Pentecostals,
okay, there should be
SDAs,
some.
they don't restrict themselves to say no, we only did someone in our
Listen.
church. We understand what you said.
Listen.
When you said you guys have qualities and stuff, but then I feel like that's very unfair.
Yeah, that's unfair.
I didn't mean.
Yeah.
Did I mention qualities?
What if I fall in love with, a girl from Jehovah's Witness, and then
Then what does
apparently
she do?
Theresa
Because
told
of
me
the
I
church?
can't marry her
Yeah,
because
that's
I'm
unfair.
imperfect in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, as the relationship grows, I would give it a chance to see how it grows. Yeah, you get to me.
You gotta be open-minded about this. You gotta be open-minded.
You do.
Okay, it's getting hot here. I want this. I'll give it a chance. We start talking. I want to know you. I want to know your own perspective about God. I want to hear what you think. And if we're not aligning, I wouldn't tie a knot where we're not aligning, guys. Just be honest about it.
But then,
But doesn't that, make you like, it's like
like-
you're in a relationship looking for red flags.
exactly, because I feel like the thing you're talking about right now is already having your mind set to say,
Okay. Can we
I
answer
can't
this question in the
be
next
with somebody
episode so that I go and do my research? Because
Do your research.
yeah.
Please do
Next
your research.
episode, guys.
Definitely next
We're
episode.
bringing
Ladies
all the
and
tea.
gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to my first ever episode of Tiyeseko podcast. Today we had Theresa, who was on the hot seat, talking about why she joined Jehovah's Witness and why you should join Jehovah's
Why?
Why? And we also had our co-host. So thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Do sure to tune in to the next episode. My name is Michael Banda. Peace out and have a blessed day.